Welcome to your journey of healing with the Healing Podcast, hosted by licensed clinician Monique Owe and co-host Dr. Amber Moan.
Thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. I am your host, Monique Owe. Dr. Moan is not here with me today. I just want to say, again, Happy New Year to everyone. It's the first week of the new year, and here we are. Today's topic is trying to get started, but I feel stuck. Okay, so I'll repeat that, trying to get started, but I feel stuck. And before I get into the topic, I do have to, let me go back and apologize. If you listen to, I think it was the episode a few weeks ago, I think I duplicated a situation. I can't remember in which episodes the situations were duplicated. Sorry about that. It was on me. As you know, Dr. Moan is normally the one who reads the situations for us. And I did not realize I had already read one situation in another episode when I recorded it before. And then again, I read it in another one. So I am sorry about that. So bear with me. Hopefully, maybe if you didn't listen to the situation the first time, the points didn't help. Maybe it helped you the second time if you listened to those two. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Trying to get started, feeling stuck. Okay, so what is this topic about? This topic is about when you're trying to get something started and you just feel like you can't, or it's not going the way you want it. It is the first week of the new year. Many times people have set New Year's resolutions, and you're feeling like already that you've been in this first week, you have not met the goal that you set, or you have not even got started with the goal or the resolution that you set for yourself. Well, what I first want to say is it's just the first week of the year. It's okay. Nothing is breaking. Nothing's going to be destroyed from it, or shouldn't be. Let's first give yourself some grace. But besides that, sometimes let's look at what we're trying to get started. People are sometimes trying to get started with weight loss, or eating more healthier, drinking more water, sleeping better, getting more sleep, less alcohol intake, maybe less soda, less caffeine. They might be doing that. Maybe you're trying to get organized. Your space is cluttered, or your room is cluttered. Something in your apartment or your home is cluttered. You have a very cluttered area and you're trying to figure out how to get that in order, and you just have not got started with that. Other times it can be maybe you're trying to start a business and you have not been able to get jump started with the way you want it, or you maybe already started it before the new year. Maybe it's a new business, been open for maybe 90 days. You've started this new business online or in person, whatever, and you feel like you should have more clientele by now and a little more successful. Well, what I want to remind people is it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Things don't take off immediately at 100 miles per hour. You have to build up to things. I think what happens is people compare their life and their situation to others, and they think because another person appears successful in that arena, they should be exactly like them, and if they have not taken off or been able to do things like that person or those people, they feel like a failure. And what I am going to first say is stop comparing yourself to others, because your situation is unique and you really don't truly know what that person had to go through to get to where they are. Let's say it's a person who's extremely organized. Well, they had to put things in place to be organized, and you don't know how that may be therapeutic for them to just be organized. So maybe it's different for them versus you, or they just may have started gradually and put their place in order. And what you saw was the one time you visited, you saw how organized they were that day. You saw them one time, or a picture they posted online of their living room, and you saw how organized they were. That was just one picture. You have not seen their home 365 days a year. You have not seen their home on the days when they have to clean up and get everything organized. You saw the finished results. Same thing with weight loss. I think online you see the very inspirational pics, motivational, where people go from weight loss. They go from being a certain weight, and you see that they put up the post where they're at their goal weight. And they'll put up, maybe it took them 6 months, a year, maybe it took them 90 days to get to a certain goal. It depends on your situation and their body, right? You only know what they're telling you. Unless you've seen their journey every day along, you don't know what the ups and downs were. And again, even if it was in that time frame that they posted, that is them. You don't know who they have helping them, what they have going on in their body, how their body's able to burn fat, maybe a little faster than others. You just don't know that. If you're trying to maybe gain some weight or tone up a bit and you're upset that you weren't able to lift the weights yet, okay, it starts slow. Some people use their body weight. They don't even use weights. So you can look up videos on how to use your body weight to gain weight because you don't have weights. Maybe you have not been able to buy the weights and you're upset with yourself. That's not a problem. It takes time. But remember, you're not going to go from not lifting weights at all to being able to automatically lift 100 pounds. That is unrealistic. That is not even healthy for yourself. You may do more damage than good by jumping all the way to the top when you need it to gradually build up. Do you notice how after an accident or something, or someone has an injury and they have to go through some type of physical therapy, the physical therapist will start them with things slow to get them their strength back. They won't automatically have them run a sprint after they broke a leg. They have to slowly start to build up the strength to be able to do that. So realize, even with whatever goal you have set for yourself in this new year, you have to start slow sometimes to build up to what you want. And if you didn't get started this week, not a big problem. Start today, start tomorrow, start the day after. It's fine. Just get started, right? Just do one thing. What I'm going to say is maybe you have to reduce your goal into smaller increments. Like, I'll give an example. If your goal is to increase your water intake because you don't really drink a lot of water, maybe you don't drink any water hardly. You drink a lot of soda, juices, caffeine, but your water is very low. And you've decided that you're going to jump to drinking a gallon in a day. Well, that's probably not realistic for you. That may not even be healthy for you because your weight and your body frame, maybe a gallon is not good for you. Maybe half a gallon is what you're trying to get up to. So you're trying to drink more than a few bottles. That's probably about 5 bottles a day. 5 16-ounce bottles is probably half a gallon, right? Maybe 5 or 6 bottles, but you're going from not drinking 1 bottle to jumping to 6 bottles. That might be a little bit too much. Why don't you start with, since you already tackle 1 bottle, you already got that down already. That's what you were doing. Why don't you tackle drinking 2 bottles and see if you can drink 2 bottles of water a day for 2 weeks. See if you can be consistent with that. If you're going to start that today, start it today. Drink 2 bottles of water today, tomorrow, the day after, and so forth for 2 weeks. And once you get to the 2-week mark, great. The next week, increase it to 3 bottles a day for 2 more weeks, 3 bottles a day, and go from there. If you're if you're a person, I'm trying to even get started with the drink, I'm not even drinking it. Well, here's a recommendation. Keep a bottle of water by your nightstand or by your bed, maybe before you go to sleep, right? Keep that bottle there. And the first thing in the morning that you do, grab that bottle of water and drink it before you actually get up out the bed to go to the bathroom and brush your teeth and whatever. Before you get out the bed, pick up that bottle of water that's on your nightstand or your night table next to your bed or whatever. Drink that bottle of water before you get out the bed. And that would have tackled at least 1. And then throughout the day, you start drinking that second bottle. And that tackled your 2. You see what I'm saying? Do that in slow increments. Do it in 2 weeks' time, then another 2 weeks. And next thing you know, you've reached 30 days and you've started to drink more water on a consistent basis. Same thing with your weight loss. Do it small. Maybe instead of thinking you're going to run the whole track, maybe walk half the track. Maybe just walk around your subdivision. Maybe just walk around your apartment complex. Maybe just walk around your block. Start with 1 walk around the block for 2 weeks. Every day, 1 walk around the block really quick before you go to work, or maybe when you come home. If you work from home, maybe on your lunch break, do that 1 block around walking. And then from there, increase it to 2 blocks, etc. Okay? That's what I want to say about that. Start small. And then go from there. If it's a business, let's say it's a business, and you feel like you're not taking off the way you needed to, and you feel like maybe you already kind of started and you had some failures, you had some bad purchases or some clientele that weren't really that great, they didn't pay you, well, change how you do things. Maybe first, now that you have 2 clients, focus on them. See what you did with them to get them and do that for the next client. Aim for 1 new client maybe a month versus 1 new client a day. Or maybe if you feel like that's too much, one new client a week versus 1 new client a day. Then once you get 1 new client a week, then make it 2 new clients a week. And then from there, you start to build. Next thing you know, you will be at 1 new client a day. But see whatever it is that you did to get the ones that you do have, and then go from there. If you have no clients, well, maybe they don't know about your services. So maybe consider printing up some flyers,
maybe consider making a social media page about your business and continue to share it. What I will say is, with anything that you set for this year, it's going to be consistency. You have to be consistent. And whatever you do, doesn't matter if it's weight loss, drinking water, eating better, the business, finances, whatever you decide to do, you have to be consistent for it to work. So that means just continue to do it. Don't compare yourself to other situations. Just continue to do it. If you have a podcast and you're trying to become successful in your podcast, be consistent with your content. Meaning, if you're going to be a daily podcast and launch it every day, that might be a lot though, because it can go into doing a podcast. A lot goes into the background to post an episode. But if that's what you want, then you do that. Make sure you're consistent. Don't worry about the numbers. Be consistent. If you're a weekly podcast, make sure you launch it every week for the most part. And if you missed a week, not a problem. Things happen. Just resume it again. Make sure you're consistent. If it's about a blog, be consistent in your blog. If it's about a book, maybe you're trying to start your book and you're focused on the book has to get done in a week. Well, maybe why don't you start with a page? See if you can write one page a night. If you can write one page a night or one page a day, next thing you know, you'll have a chapter. And then go from there. So my thing is start small and build from there. I think the problem is we think that one setback is a failure, and it's not. It's a setback. Just because you didn't get started yesterday, start today. If you don't get started today, start tomorrow. I'm serious with that. And please don't compare. I think use people's situations, I've said it before, as motivation, as inspiration, but don't compare your situation to theirs because you truly don't know what that person had to do. Even if you do know that person closely and you saw how they became successful, think about really how much time it took them to build. If they had to get an office space or they had to get a retail space, how much time did it take them to get that space to be able to build that thing? It takes time, but don't let the time be a discourager for you. Don't let that be a deterrent for you to not be able to do things. Make sure you are just consistent and give yourself time. Do things in increments. Before I continue with this topic of trying to get started but feeling stuck, let's go ahead and make a quick segue here. I'm going to go into, you guessed it, the situation. Now, this is not a situation that was sent in directly to the Healing Podcast. This is one that I saw. Let's see what we have. And this situation is, I have been dating a gentleman for 30 days. And for the most part, he's consistent. I like him a lot, but I'm just not sure of one thing, and that's with the communication over the phone. Well, let's see. It says here that I've been dating him. We met one day picking up a to-go order about over a month ago. We met. We were picking up a to-go order at the same time. We just started sparking up a conversation while we were waiting, and from there we exchanged numbers. And from there, he's been pretty consistent. We talk over the phone on my way to work, on his way to work. We've gone out a couple times after work. We've gone out maybe twice on a weekend. And then the issue is his communication. While he can call me on my way to work and things like that, and he calls me throughout the day when he can on his break, in the evening, he can't call me. He only can text, and that is my concern. Now, he did share with me that recently his apartment was flooded, and he had decided to move in with family temporarily while they were fixing his apartment. But his apartment complex told him it's going to take them a little while longer, so they have given him an option to go into another apartment altogether, or he can break his lease and move. And he's decided that he wants to purchase a home. So he decided to stay with family to just give him time to search for a home because it's a new goal. He wasn't planning on searching for a home right now, but he thinks this might be the best option for him. He even invited me to go look at homes with him this weekend coming. My concern is the phone issue in the evening of him not being able to talk on the phone. He can only text. I'm concerned if he's hiding something. Well, I want to know if I'm being unrealistic in my expectation, or do I have matters for concern? Okay, so if this is a situation that you're facing, you may know someone in a situation like this where you feel like the person can only text you in the evening versus talk. Let's see. Well, it depends on what it is. This is a new situation. 30 days in, he's been pretty consistent. It's just in the evening. You said he moved in with family. I can see maybe he doesn't want to talk about his personal business, in front of family. And I don't know his setup. I don't know if he has his own room, if he's just sharing a couch. if you're just using their couch or whatever. So that might be the case. But what I will say is this. If that is a deal breaker for you, you need to speak to the person on the phone every night and they can't actually speak on the phone. Well, he already didn't meet your expectation. You should stop talking to him. Maybe put him in a friend zone. But if you like him and he's being consistent in every other area and he's inviting you on intimate things like looking for homes, that's his thing already. He doesn't even really know you. You're not even exclusive. I think he's trying to be consistent and share a certain detail with you. Understand, just like you're trying to build trust in him, he's trying to build up trust in you. So I would say, I think it's a little early. He's been consistent, but I would express how you feel. If you really feel a certain way about him not calling you in the evening, only being able to text, talk to him about it. Tell him why it bothers you. And maybe he'll be a little bit more vulnerable with you to express why it's a problem. It really could be just as simple as he does not want to open up his personal business in front of his family. It could be just as simple as that. So I will say with you, give it time. I think 30 days is a little early. If it keeps going on for 60 days like that and he's not giving you a reason why, that might be matters for concern. Maybe he's hiding something. But right now, I think it's very early. I think watch the behavior and express how you feel. Communication is key. So aside from that, if you would like to share your situation, go ahead and email support@thehealingpodcast.com. You can send in your situation that way, or you can go to the Healing Podcast website, thehealingpodcast.com, hit the contact tab. You can share your situation there. Okay, before we get back into our topic, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Healing Expressions.
Are you someone who has been considering therapy? Perhaps someone else has told you that you need to talk to a therapist. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you want to discuss some challenges that you've been facing with your significant other. Maybe there's a communication issue, perhaps an incident of infidelity. Or maybe you just want to strengthen your relationship because you guys are thinking about taking another step. Maybe you're struggling with anxiety or depression, perhaps grief, life stressors, and you just want to share your thoughts with someone. Well, consider contacting Healing Expressions. Healing Expressions is a private practice located in the Atlanta, Georgia area. You will be given a session at an affordable price with a licensed therapist. If this resonates with you, consider going to healingexpressionsllc.com, reading about the practice, and hitting the contact tab to see if you can book a session. All right. Thank you so much. And back to the Healing Podcast.
Okay, so back into our topic, trying to get started but feeling stuck. Listen, things will take off if you're consistent and you continue to grow and give yourself time. I just want you to break down those goals in increments. Life is still happening all around you. You still have things you're responsible for. You might be a caretaker. You might be ill, trying to deal with some illnesses yourself. You may have other family things going on, things like that have gotten in the way. Not a problem. Just get started today. If you can't get started today, start tomorrow. But what I'm saying is going to make it very small. Instead of saying you're going to organize the whole room, why don't you start with one section? Start with that left corner. Okay. If you're going to fold your clothes after the laundry, you have a pile of clothes on the bed or on the couch. Well, start with one pile of clothes. While you're watching TV, just start folding the clothes and go from there. Versus saying I'm going to organize everything, fold them, hang them, iron them, all that. Well, maybe just start with folding them. So while you're watching TV or listening to music or scrolling, I don't know how you're going to do while you're scrolling because you need your hands. But while you're doing that, or watching a video online, play the video, have your phone playing the video while you're starting to fold your clothes. That is as simple as that. Start small. You guys already know the water analogy I gave. Start small. Increase it. Do something for 2 weeks, consistent, and then you'll see how you can continue to grow from there. Okay? Don't let certain things get in the way of your success by having an expectation that's unrealistic. You give grace to others, but you don't give grace to yourself. And realize, again, it's just the first week of the year. Things can still improve. Things can still change. Only thing you have to do is just get started. If it's a lack of motivation for getting started, because maybe you're depressed or you're going through anxiety, then I'm going to recommend and talk to a professional first. That's the first step so that you can deal with the depression or the anxiety and then get started. You understand? If you don't have money for a professional to talk to, then talk to a confidant to try to get some tips and some motivation. My whole point is slow down the goal. You already know what you want to do. You know why you want to do it. Start small and go from there. Start to build from there. Maybe you have a whole bunch of boxes in your room you haven't unpacked. Maybe you moved and you haven't unpacked in a while. Okay, start with one box. Put one box away. And the next day, put another box away. Next thing you know, in a month, you'll have all the boxes away. You see what I'm saying? Start small, build from there. If you can't do one box a day, do one box a week. It's not bothering anybody. It is bothersome to you. So let that be your motivation. It's bothering you. The motivation is to be unbothered, right? And then to be able to be free and clutter free and all that good stuff. Whatever it is, and if it's the business and you feel like you're not as successful, it takes time. Whether it's an online business or if you have an actual business that people are able to come to, it takes time. Let it build from there. Continue to promote it. That's it. It doesn't matter if people like it, if you have a whole bunch of followers on social media. Just be consistent with promoting it. It will start to gain traction. Believe me, it will happen. Don't focus on numbers. Focus on your content. Focus on your product. Focus on being consistent. The main thing that will get you to be successful, whether in finances, whether in weight loss, whether in health, whatever it is be consistent. So before I go, I'll leave you with this, and that is, there is always another way. And if you're blessed, there is always another day. So if it didn't happen yesterday, do it today. If it didn't happen today, do it tomorrow. Remember, there is always another way to do things. And if you're blessed, there's always another day. I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Please tell your friends, family about the Healing Podcast, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.